Chair recognizes Mr. Tinderholt.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Look, what this really comes down to is the Instructional Materials Fund, the IMF fund. Across the state, we're doing an unfunded mandate on our school districts. I'm going to tell you the same thing I say every time that we do this with a bill. I think the intent of the bill is great. I think my school district would really like a program like this. But I think my school district and charter schools, and I think the majority of your schools, would want the state to pay for this program. Instead, we're going to rake off and take this money from the Instructional Materials Fund. We're going to force them to pay for this without funding it. For instance, if this system costs $5 million, my school district loses $60,000. I'm a little concerned about the charter schools in the district as well. Again, I told you the intent of this bill is really good. But to try to say that this bill is going to cause another bill to not pass, I think is a little bit unfair. A through F, we all know it needs to be fixed. We know that everyone's working really hard to do it.
Mr. Speaker,
and I don't think that this
gentleman yield for a
should
question?
affect A through F on either side of the House, regardless
Gentleman
of
yield
the
for
issue.
a question.
I do, sir.
Gentleman yields.
Representative Tinderholt, did you vote for A through F reform?
Yes, I did.
You support it?
100%.
You've said so publicly.
Yes, I did.
Could y'all confine your remarks to the bill?
Mr. Speaker, parliamentary inquiry.
Please state your inquiry.
Is it germane to the bill if the bill author who laid it out addressed this specific issue before? If Representative Huberty brought up A through F and another specific bill in conjunction with this, does it then make it germane to this argument?
I don't recall Mr. Huberty mentioning A through F when he was on the mic debating his bill.
I think I recall it.
But we need to confine
Representative
our remarks to
Tinderholt.
Senate Bill 1484, and I apologize if Mr. Huberty got off track. I will scold him when I see him next.
I will join you. Second that motion, Mr. Speaker. Representative Tinderholt, did you hear from your school district on this bill?
I did, and I'll tell you that my superintendent, great, wonderful superintendent that we have in Arlington,
actually received an award.
Superintendent of the Year.
That's right. Okay.
And after talking to the chairman, he's a little concerned that this bill could be tied to something else. So I think I don't like how a bill like this is held hostage over another bill. And look, this is just, the intent is good, but we're not paying for it. We're going to force them to take it out of their IMF, and I just don't think that's the right thing to do. We keep doing that with education. We keep telling them, you're going to do this, but pay for it out of the money we already give you. And oh, by the way, do this too. And then we want them to pay for it out of the money that they get, and we're not funding it, and I think that that's the wrong answer.
And Representative Tinderholt, did you receive any correspondence on this piece of legislation?
I did from school district. Charter schools don't like it. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't like, my sole issue with it is us forcing the school district to take the funding that we give them and use that money. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of doing unfunded mandates.
Mr. Speaker, will the gentleman yield?
Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir, I do.
Gentleman yields.
Mr. Tinderholt, do you know my senator is actually standing next to me?
I see that. Welcome to the Texas House.
Can he ask you some questions?
I'm not yielding yet, you know.
And I think that senator would agree that we all want to fix A through F 100%, and I know he does too. But we can't do unfunded mandates like this. And this should not affect A through F. I think everyone in this House agrees. This bill has nothing to do with that. We need to fix A through F to help the school districts and help the teachers and help the students. If what we're here for is to truly help outcomes for students and help our instructional systems designers and teachers and all the administrative staff create better outcomes for our students, this bill should have nothing to do with that bill. And I think that the senator behind you will agree that we have to fix A through F, and this has nothing to do with it.
I may have to ask him, and I'm not sure if he heard you.
I think he heard.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Have you had a lot of complaints from your ISDs? I know I've had a lot of complaints from mine that the A through F system is flawed.
Look, we know there's several issues with it. Tons of them. Attendance, preparedness for for after high school. There's several issues with it. Teachers getting C ratings. I've heard a lot of different issues with it. But the problem is,
Larry Taylor has some questions.
hey, the problem is not that system.
It's the last night. Just see if I recognize
Representative Kane.
Mr. Speaker.
The use of the House floor and the House mics are only reserved for members of the Texas House.
I'm a member of the Texas House.
And the great courtesies that are being extended to the House by the Senate, I don't think it's a good time.
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Kane,
parliamentary inquiry.
please state your inquiry.
Are House members allowed in the Senate lounge?
That is something that I am not knowledgeable to the answer.
I asked because I'd heard we're no longer allowed over there, but this morning I saw a senator getting his shoes shined in our lounge.
Well, actually, Mr. Kane, I saw you ask a senator that question, and they said that you first have to be a member of the House.
Mr. Speaker, parliamentary inquiry.
Please state your inquiry.
How much longer is there on this bill?
28 seconds.
Representative Tinderholt.
22.
Representative Tinderholt, you represent a large portion of Arlington ISD,
passage.
do you not?
No,
You don't represent a large portion of Arlington
I
ISD?
do. I was saying no to
You do.
moving passage.
And you stand here today in opposition to Senate Bill 1484 on behalf of their request
Well,
from your district,
I
correct?
stand here because I don't like that we're forcing them to spend
Members,
this money.
the 10 minutes has expired, and therefore Senate Bill, which Senate sponsor 1484 is withdrawn from the calendar.